Mr. Sandor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I'm delighted to be here to share our experiences with you, and also noting and looking around the room that there are 4 of our members, Smithfield Foods, Midwest Vaco, Roanoke, and Rolls-Royce, all in your district. And Illinois, I'm proud to say we have 32 members, not including hundreds of traders, and 75 members of the Border Trade and the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. We have 4 from Pennsylvania, 14 from New York, 9 from Texas, 6 from Massachusetts, 2 from Georgia. Every single member here has member firms in our district. We bring to bear our experience of 40 years in academia, off and on, and 35 years as a professional inventor. We've been involved in the development of financial futures, interest rate derivatives at the Chicago Board of Trade. Had the privilege of working with Brian in the design of the SO2 program. We did the first registered trade in the EPA, and we've traded carbon throughout the decade of the 1990s, giving us an experience set. The Chicago Climate Exchange is a cap-and-trade allowance and project-based systems. Very important to indicate. It has 300 or more members. They range from IBM, DuPont, Motorola, American Electric Power, Tampa Electric, 4 of the companies in the Dow Jones, Intel included, many companies that are America's leaders. In sum total, the emissions baseline of the Chicago Climate Exchange is 330 million tons, representing 10% of the United States stationary source emissions. So it is not a small sample. And what have we learned? What is our architecture? Number 1, we start with the baseline of year 2000, and our members are required to cut emissions by 6% by 2010. This is as stringent as any bill that you have pending before you. The system allows, as I indicated, emissions reductions and, most importantly, project-based offsets. The Illinois Farm Bureau, the Iowa Farm Bureau, North Dakota Farmers Union, National Farmers Union, and one of the major things we've learned is the role of agriculture could be very significant in reducing greenhouse gases at the most efficient levels. We, for example, have seen farmers, dairy people, rangeland management all included in our protocols. The 6% reduction is independently verified by the NSD and monitored. Even though we were granted a letter of regulatory exemption, we chose to be regulated in order to ensure the integrity of our data. How has our volume proceeded? A year and 2 years ago, we traded 1.5 million tons of carbon. Last year, we traded 10.3 million tons, and in the first 90 days, we've traded 6.5 million tons, roughly. That's a sign of companies being able to enter and exit without disturbing prices. The price history is phenomenal in that we started at 80 cents a ton, got up to $5 a ton, and ultimately went down to about $3.75 where we are. One thing I think is a common theme among all of us is price. And that volume history is important because of entry and exit, but the price is the driver. Let me give you a few small examples. Professor from MIT called up when the price was $2, ultimately with a biodiesel invention. He was able to raise $10 million, and now that system is in practice, licensed to MIT, used by Arizona Public Service. Intrepid, which is in the animal waste digester program, taking methane in, raised $17 million based on a $2 or $3 price. Once you put price out there, invention is automatically spurred. And we've seen in just this little pilot with very, very low prices, professors from MIT, people in the northwestern part of the United States doing biodigesters in Iowa, raising tens of millions of dollars, all to bring the low-cost solution. So this is very, very important as far as what we're concerned. Craig Ventnor, who matched the Genome Project, raised $100 million to look for genetically altered microbes that eat pollutants. So even with this tiny price, we're beginning to see some things. The Chicago Climate Exchange, in the last 2 minutes that I have, basically has a family of exchanges. We are very, very privileged. There are 7 exchanges in Europe, and the European Climate Exchange has an 85% market share. We trade the mandated system there and do about $60 to $70 million of trading a day. We run the SO2 futures market, which is also mandated, centrally located. What are the lessons that we've learned? It's not daunting. There's no showstoppers. The bad news is there's data gaps and inefficiencies. We think, in summary, to distribute the allowances free is important. To credit early action is critical. To have a maximum number of offsets and international. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sandor. Dr.